CC Rock. We are now in Orangevale, California at the Boardwalk for a very special night with Asia. That's right, the rock supergroup from the early 80s. They're still together, putting out some great music. Jeff Downs, John Payne. They have a new album out called Silent Nation. Definitely got to check out some of the best music from Asia in a long, long, long time. But you know what? Hey, check this out. East Bay Express, metal is in, Matt is out. Chris Thompson wrote an article about CC Rock, which is pretty cool. It says, metal is in, Matt is out. Well, I am out in Orangevale, so I guess you could say I'm out in a way. But like I said, thanks for the article, Chris. It got some people calling me about the show, some good exposure. But tonight on CC Rock, heat of the moment, Asia. Woo!
Hi, I'm Rob from Central Tune-Up. Check this out. Oil filter crusher. Did you know that every drained used oil filter that comes off your car still contains up to a cup of used oil? That used oil can destroy our environment and water supply. Do the right thing and place your used oil filter in a clear Ziploc bag and place it on the curb with the rest of the recyclable items. If your city does not have curbside used oil recycling, take it to your nearest certified used oil and filter recycling center. Call ahead for hours and the amount accepted. What more, if all the oil filters that were sold yearly in the United States were recycled, you would have enough steel to build 16 pro sports stadiums. Be good to the earth. Recycle your used oil and filters for a better tomorrow. Call 1-800-NO-DUMPING or check out our website at www.funnelhead.com.
You leave now, it's in your eyes, there's no disguising it, it really comes as no surprise to find out you planned it all along. Only time will tell. I see it now, become so sincerity and be all starry-eyed. You think that I would have known by now. Now, sure as the sun across the sky, flying's over. Lost.
Welcome back to CC Rock, and we are now backstage at the Boardwalk in Orangevale, California for a very special interview with some guys who I've been wanting to talk to for a long time. We've got John Payne. How you doing, John?
Nice to meet you.
Jeff Downs, the historical Jeff Downs. You've done so much. You've been everywhere.
Yeah, that's what they tell me.
I mean, you've got quite a history. The band Asia's got quite a history. Now you guys are here tonight supporting Silent Nation, a great new disc. I mean, this is probably, I think, Aqua was a great disc, but I think this is probably just as close, if not better, than that disc. Tell me about the style of this disc compared to the old ones.
Well, Jeff and I sat down and we thought, why don't we try and do more of a band disc? Why don't we try and get back to the roots of what Asia was supposed to be about? And using the same four people that we met on the previous album, Chris Slade and Guthrie Govan. We started to build this CD, and it became apparent that we were getting more back to what the band was about. We've had fun before on previous albums, having a lot of guest musicians, but we were sort of really playing more like a rock Steely Dan card, using a lot of great players, and that was very enjoyable. But it seemed time to have a proper band album from Asia.
Well, this album is a great representation of Asia. And you think about, I mean, all the albums that Asia has put out. I mean, Arena, Aria, Astra. There's a lot of A's. You could say that. I mean, what is there a connection with the A? What is the A word about?
Well, it started off with obviously with the first album, and we carried on from there really. And you know, on the last album, we kind of run out of what we felt. We felt each album really summed it up. You know, like Aria was quite operatic in nature, and Aqua had a kind of watery theme to it. So there was a sort of purpose behind, I think, you know, those albums. But I think we wanted to make a change really with this album. We wanted to do something that was not. We weren't actually hampered by that AA thing, you know. So that's why we went for the change on this one.
Well, you look at your live set. I mean, obviously, you guys play the big ones, Heat of the Moment, Time Will Tell. But there's also a lot of great songs from John, who's done a great job. And I noticed on Silent Nation, you were the engineer, producer of this album, in a sense, which in the past, it was always more Jeff and John. Was there a new approach of some sort in that reasoning, or?
I just, we'd moved our studio from the UK over to Los Angeles. And going from a big 96 channel mixing desk where 2 or 3 people can sit behind to recording onto a Pro Tools system. We approached it very much like a normal analog recording, but it's very hard to get more than one person behind the desk, so to speak, because it's virtual. So it sort of really just naturally progressed that as I was running the Pro Tools system, that I would get more involved in the production side of it. And even though we co-produced a lot of stuff beforehand, we've often had another person working with us as an engineer. So this was very much a more cottage industry thing than previous albums, probably.
Well, you're down in LA producing this compared to Britain. I mean, obviously there's been a lot of issues with Britain just recently. The terrorist attacks are going on. I mean, is there a part of you that wants to be home? I don't know. I mean, you must have family and friends there. Is that feeling that you want to be there, or what's up?
I still love Britain. I think it's a beautiful place, and it's got great people there. I mean, it's very sad that these things are happening in the world, but we also enjoy, you know, working around the world, because we spent most of this year traveling. We've been all through Russia, Europe, most of UK, South America, Central America, and now North America. And really, when you move about that much, you don't really have one fixed place. Just that our management is out here now, and it's a good environment, I think.
There's a black Siberian looking white take me home. I'm a long way from home, but I know it's where I belong. It's a long way, I know, but the heart will still carry me home.
The Silent Nation. What is the common theme of the fact you see the album cover, you see the mouth kind of eclipsed from a sense? What is the theme of Silent Nation? What is the feeling of that? Who came up with the idea?
I think it was something that we both kind of came up with independently. I think a lot of the sentiment behind the album is to do with the fact that, you know, there are people that have got opinions about things that are, you know, either afraid to voice them or don't want to say them. We came up with this idea of just like normal everyday people, like the sort of silent majority, if you like, who are not allowed a voice. And it's translated onto the album sleeve as well, so it all kind of fell into one place together.
must change what has been done. It's a travesty in a silence. It's not up to me to change what has been done. It's not up to me. A speechless world looks on. It just has to be in a silent nation.
As you go back in the career of Asia, back in the early 80s, I mean, let's face it, there was the supergroup Asia. That was, four guys who basically conquered the world for a few albums. What was the demise of Asia? I mean, slowly, people started leaving. Obviously there was Steve was first, and then it went on. What happened with that?
I don't see it so much as demise. I think that the fact the first album was so enormous was more by luck than judgment. I don't think any of us really thought it was going to be as big as it was. And I think that from that point, it's very hard to kind of top that on a commercial level. And I think the fact that we'd all come from pretty big bands, people started to sort of drift back into the bands, like, ELP from Carl went back to that, Steve went back to Yes. So there was very much a kind of more of a parting of the ways, and I think it was around that time that I really felt that Asia had still got a lot to offer, and that's when I got in touch with John, and we really just revamped the whole thing and set it on a new course.
Well, when you think about it, I mean, John, you've been with the band for most of the duration of the band, really, if you look at it, and historically wise. And the fact that there's a new movie coming out, The 40-Year-Old Virgin. Now, it's speaking of being hot in here, there's a song called Heat of the Moment, which they're going to use for the movie. How did that come about? I mean, did they go through you at all, or how's that work?
Yeah, I mean, I think people just, they contact Universal, who've got the old Geffen catalogue, and obviously because the album was so enormous, Heat of the Moment was the biggest song off that album, so it's still remembered by a lot of people. And I think when people put films together with an assorted soundtrack, they'll pick a song that maybe meant something to them, or they think will mean something in the film. So yeah, I mean, if you think about 40-Year-Old Virgin,
Yeah.
by the time Heat of the Moment came out, it was probably the person who was 40 would be 16, so that's probably where the idea of it
It's a nostalgic connection, I suppose.
Never meant to be so bad to you. One thing I said that I would never do. A look from you and I would fall from grace. I never up a smile right from my face. Do you remember when we used to dance? And incidents arose from circumstance. of sun. It was the heat of the moment, telling me what our hearts meant. Heat of the moment, shone in your eyes.
I got one. Quick, reel it in. Hey, look, it's already marinated.
No, it's dead and it's covered with oil and grime. And you don't marinate fish.
It's dead, but why?
Because of that guy. He's dumping his used oil and filter on the ground next to the delta.
Look, here comes Mr. Funnelhead to save the Delta. No, the world.
Hey, stop that! Don't you know that by dumping your used oil and filters into the Delta, you're destroying our water supply? Too many gallons of used oil and sewage have already contaminated our waters. And even though the average used oil filter looks empty, it still contains up to a cup of used motor oil. Take your used oil and filters to a certified used oil recycling center where they can properly recycle the oil and filter for a better tomorrow. Call 1-800-NO-DUMPING or check out our website at www.funnelhead.com.
This problem is insoluble. The answers seem impossible. The logic ceases to exist. Emotion is the beat we miss. I stand on a world with dreams. Reality, existence are the same. We take it from our mother's skin. But the world is not to blame. Who tells the wind which way to blow? I wonder who will stop the rain. The rocks that hold the secrets, they don't know so. Who can stop the rain? We lost the path for all we know. Now tell me, when will it start again? And as the old man lifts his hands, please can you stop the rain? Stars from far away, like they never did before. New moon shining, like it never will again. Who tells the wind which way to blow? I wonder who will stop the rain. The rocks that hold the secrets, they don't know so. Who can stop the rain? Desert, white cloud, spirits they sing. Rain falls from the big sky onto broken wing. There is no sense in turning back to wash the debris from the track. But without reason, without rhyme, we fought for peace within a time. stop the rain.